Hello everyone, and welcome to today's training course on vehicle inspections. My name is Zach Deloach, and I am the Safety and Compliance Manager for Pac-Van. Today we will cover the responsibilities related to vehicle inspections, the different types of inspections, and how to successfully perform these inspections on your vehicle. All parties listed here have various responsibilities concerning vehicle inspections. Pac-Van is required to provide preventative maintenance, such as annual inspections and oil changes, as well as corrective maintenance to resolve any outstanding issues. With that being said, Pac-Van cannot provide corrective maintenance if we are unaware of ongoing issues with the vehicles. This is where the drivers come into play. Drivers are responsible for conducting pre-trip, on the road, and post-trip inspections to discover any issues with the vehicle. Each driver is ultimately responsible for the condition of their vehicle while on the road. Drivers should not permit a vehicle to leave the Pac-Van yard with any condition that would result in unsafe conditions or non-compliance with federal, state, and local laws. Roadside enforcement personnel, most commonly state troopers or Department of Transportation officers, are responsible for conducting inspections of both vehicles and drivers. They are also responsible for conducting audits of motor carriers. These roadside enforcement personnel have the ultimate authority to issue a legally binding out-of-service order against a specific driver, vehicle, or motor carrier. There are three types of inspections that a driver is responsible for performing. At the beginning of each day, a driver must complete a pre-trip inspection. This includes a thorough inspection of the vehicle, the trailer, and whatever load securement devices may apply. A pre-trip inspection ensures that any maintenance issues are discovered and corrected before a truck enters a public roadway. An on-the-road inspection occurs while the driver is operating the vehicle, as well as any time they stop throughout the day. Drivers should monitor their dashboard for warning lights, signals, or instrument readings indicating an issue. After each stop, drivers should verify that cargo securement is still in place and compliant, all lights are functional, and that no issues have developed with the tires. At the end of each day, drivers should conduct a thorough post-trip inspection in order to discover any issues that occurred during the day's work. If any issues are discovered, they must be reported and corrected before that truck is sent back onto a public roadway. Conducting vehicle inspections is an intensive task that must be performed correctly. To conduct successful inspections, consider the following. Each inspection must be in-depth. Any issues must be found and corrected at the branch so that roadside inspectors don't discover these issues while the vehicle is in use. The most successful drivers perform their inspections the exact same way every single time. By creating a habit, drivers can be sure to hit every item on the list and never look over anything. Thorough inspections may take more time up front at the beginning of the day, but it will save you time and headache in the long run. Catching issues and correcting them at the branch prevents a driver from getting stuck on the road with maintenance issues or being placed out of service at an inspection station. Remember, drivers are ultimately responsible for the condition of the vehicle once it leaves the yard. Conduct thorough inspections to protect yourself and everyone else on the roadways. The first portion of the inspection checklist we're going to discuss is the power unit. When you first approach your truck, take a once-over glance for anything out of the ordinary. Verify that your license plate is present and mirrors are secured. Headlights and reflectors must be free of fog and damage. A quick glance beneath the vehicle should confirm that no puddles are present on the ground, indicating a fluid leak. The next step is to open the engine compartment. Check all fluids to ensure they are filled to the proper level. All reservoir tanks should be free of any damage or leaks. Trace all hoses and ensure they are securely fastened at both ends. Gently tug on all belts. They should be free of any damage or wear and have less than a half inch of free play. Verify that the water pump is secure and all components are free of damage. The alternator should be secure and there should be no visual indications of burns, corrosion, or damage on the wires. The radiator should be secured with clamps tightened. Hoses should not be leaking fluid. Visually inspect the fan shroud, blades, and belt to ensure that there is no damage. Check the level of the fuel filter to verify it is within operating levels and does not need serviced. Inspect the steering column and ensure that U-joints are not excessively worn or loose. They should be properly greased to ensure smooth operation. The pitman arm and drag link should be securely mounted and free of any damage, wear, or rust. Verify that the steering knuckle and tie rod are secured and in good condition. All castle nuts and cotter pins should be present and secure. Inspect the tires on the front axle. Tires must be the same size and type on both ends. Steer tires should have 4/32 of an inch of tread at an absolute minimum. This measurement should be taken at multiple spots around the tire to ensure accuracy and even wear. Check the tire for tread separation, cuts, cupping, exposed tire ply, and damage to the valve stem. There should be no air leaks from the tire and it should be filled to manufacturer's specifications. Examine the rims for signs of damage. If rust streaks or white powder are present, this could indicate that a lug nut is loose. Look behind the tire to ensure that the U-bolts and saddle are secured to the axle. Verify that the hub is securely tightened. If the hub has sight glass, visually confirm the hub is filled to the indicated level. If no sight glass is present, open the cap and ensure that at least 1 inch of lube is present. The hub seal should not be leaking fluid. Verify that all components of the front suspension, including spring hangers, leaf springs, U-bolts, and saddles, are secure and free of damage. Leaf springs should not be shifted and shock absorbers should be free of any type of leak. Inspect the brake hose for any signs of chafing, kinking, or leaking. Check the brake chamber for damage, cracks, holes, and rust. The chamber should not be leaking air. Slack adjusters and push rods should be secured with a cotter pin and free of any damage. A later section will discuss how to inspect brake adjustment. Look on the inside of the wheel to check the brake drum and lining. There should be no cracks, oil, or debris present on the drum or the lining. The friction material of the brake lining should be at least 1/4 of an inch in thickness. Step back and examine the windows and mirrors. Look for any signs of damage as well as excessive dirt or debris that may obstruct vision or attract the attention of roadside enforcement. All doors should open and close securely. This means there should be no bungee cords or securement devices used to hold doors shut. Pac-Van logos, unit numbers, DOT numbers, and current year IFTA stickers should be present on both the driver's and passenger doors. The location of the annual inspection sticker will be dictated by local laws. For states that do not require their own sticker, the annual inspection sticker should be placed somewhere on the driver's side where a roadside inspector can easily see it. The fuel tank must be secured with 2 rubber-backed metal bands. Inspect the tank for signs of leakage, such as streaks coming out from the gas cap. Inspect the catwalk area and any steps on the truck. If steps and catwalk are present, they should be clean and free of any residue that may cause a slip or a fall. Any items stored on the catwalk must be securely fastened with at least 2 forms of securement. For example, a spare tire must have at least 2 straps holding it down in case one strap breaks while on the road. Open the battery box and look for any damage, debris, or leaks. Ensure there is no sign of burns or corrosion on the batteries or connecting devices. Inspect all lights and reflectors to ensure that they are present and free of damage. Inspect the drive shaft, verifying that it is straight and secure. U-joints should be free of debris and properly greased. While examining the exhaust system, look for signs of holes or leakage. Soot building on the pipe may indicate an exhaust leak. Examine the frame and cross members to verify there is no damage. Drive tires should be the same size and type on both sides of the rear axle. The tread depth must be at least 2/32 of an inch deep at a bare minimum. Confirm that there is no tread separation, cuts, cupping, bulging, or exposed tire ply. Inspect the valve stem for damage and leaks, and confirm that the tire pressure is filled to manufacturer specifications. Rims should be free of damage. Rust or white powder may indicate that a lug nut is loose. Look behind the tire to confirm that U-bolts and saddles are secured to the axle. The axle seal should be undamaged, with all bolts present and securely fastened. If the truck has duals, look in between the tires to ensure there's nothing lodged in between them. Examine the rear suspension, checking the spring mount, spring arm, U-bolts, and saddles for any damage. Check the shock absorbers for any damage or leaks. Check the airbags to ensure that all mounting bolts are present and secured. Drivers should regularly spray the airbags with a foamy water solution to check for slow leaks. Inspect the brake hoses for any signs of chafing, kinking, or leaking. Check the brake chamber for damage, cracks, holes, and rust. The chamber should not be leaking air. Slack adjusters and push rods should be secured with a cotter pin and free of any damage. A later section will discuss how to inspect brake adjustment. Look on the inside of the wheel to check the brake drum and lining. There should be no cracks, oil, or debris present on the drum or lining. The friction material of the brake lining should be at least 1/4 of an inch in thickness. Check your mud flaps for damage and verify that the bottom of the flap is no more than 6 inches above the ground. While the required height of mud flaps varies from state to state, a height of 6 inches is typically accepted while operating across state lines. Inspect the lights and reflectors at the rear of the vehicle for any damage. Inspect electrical connections at both ends. These connectors should be secured at both ends and suspended in order to prevent chafing while the truck is in motion. There should be no damage to the connector insulation, resulting in signs of wear or exposed wiring. Check air lines at both ends and ensure they are suspended in order to prevent chafing or kinking as well. Monitor these air lines for signs of damage or air leaks. Verify that the glad hand connectors are secured. There should be no damage to the interlocking connection system. The seal should be in good condition with no signs of cracking or dry rot. There should be no indication of air leaks. Inspect the coupling system. The platform should be securely mounted with all bolts present. The locking jaws should be secured and free of damage. If the trailer is already connected, the locking jaws should be fully locked around the kingpin. The release arm must be in the fully locked position with the safety latch engaged. If the trailer is not connected, inspect the skid plate for any signs of damage. The skid plate must be properly lubricated before use. The next portion of the inspection checklist we'll review is the trailer. If the trailer is loaded, the driver must check the securement devices to ensure that they are in compliance with Pac-Van policy and the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations. Whenever a trailer is connected to the tractor, the landing gear should be fully raised and secured with the handle in the cradle. Look beneath the trailer and verify that the frame and cross members are free of damage and rust. There should not be stress cracks or indicators of damage. Verify that all lights and reflectors are present, including the ABS light. Trailer tires should be the same size and type on both sides of the rear axles. The tread depth must be 2/32 of an inch deep at a bare minimum. Confirm that there is no tread separation, cuts, cupping, bulging, or exposed tire ply. Inspect the valve stem for damage and leaks, and confirm that the tire pressure is filled to manufacturer specifications. Rims should be free of damage. Rust or white powder may indicate that a lug nut is loose. Look behind the tire to confirm that U-bolts and saddles are secured to the axle. The axle seal should be undamaged, with all bolts present and securely fastened. If the trailer has duals, look in between the tires to ensure that there is nothing lodged in between. Examine the trailer suspension, checking the spring mount, shock absorbers, airbags, U-bolts, and saddles for damage. Check the airbags to ensure that all mounting bolts are present and secured. Drivers should regularly spray the airbags with a foamy water solution to check for slow leaks. Inspect the brake hose for any signs of chafing, kinking, or leaking. Check the brake chamber for damage, cracks, holes, and rust. The chamber should not be leaking air. Slack adjusters and push rods should be secured with a cotter pin and free of any damage. A later section will discuss how to inspect brake adjustment. Look on the inside of the wheel to check the brake drum and lining. There should be no cracks, oil, or debris present on the drum or lining. The friction material of the brake lining should be at least a 1/4 inch in thickness. Verify that the license plate is present and valid. Mud flaps should be free of damage and secured no more than 6 inches above the ground. Verify that all lights and reflectors are present and free of damage. If the trailer is disconnected, verify that the kingpin is present and free of damage. If the trailer has already been connected, ensure that there is no gap between the skid plate and the apron of the trailer. The next area of the inspection checklist we'll discuss is the cab inspection and functions check. All of the items displayed on the screen should be present in the cab or in a storage box. This includes emergency triangles, spare fuses, and a secured fire extinguisher. Drivers must make sure that the latch securing the fire extinguisher is locked into place and does not easily pop open. The small spill kit is not a requirement, but Pac-Van strongly recommends that all drivers carry one. All Descartes paperwork from the P drive must be present, including a backup logbook for use in case of ELD malfunction. Each truck should have a binder with all legal paperwork neatly organized inside. Drivers should take care to remove outdated or expired paperwork. Each truck binder should also contain paperwork on every trailer that the truck may pull. Lights are one of the biggest areas for improvement for Pac-Van drivers during roadside inspections. This light check typically goes much faster if a second person is available to assist. Each light must be inspected during each of the 5 functions listed here. Any malfunctioning lights must be replaced before going onto the road. While checking the lights, drivers should also check for the presence and condition of reflective tape. While in the cab, drivers must ensure that all seat belts are functional and in good working condition. Check the ABS light. When the key is turned on, the ABS light should come on and then turn off. After starting the engine, drivers should verify that all gauges build up to and remain in a normal operating zone. Verify that both the city horn and the air horn are functional. Windshields and mirrors should be clean, and mirrors should be properly adjusted. Heaters, air conditioners, and defrosters should be functional, and all indicators on the dash should be working. Drivers must check the functionality of their parking and service brakes each day. Follow the instructions listed here to check both brake systems before heading out onto the road. Out-of-adjustment brakes are one of the leading causes of out-of-service orders nationwide. While getting underneath of the truck and checking brake adjustment daily can be a time-consuming process, it is vital to the safety of all people on the roads. Automatic slack adjusters do not relieve a driver of the responsibility to check the adjustment of their brakes on a daily basis. Verify that the truck is parked in a secured, flat area that is free of bystanders. Secure the vehicle from movement with blocks or wheel chocks. Ensure the air pressure is above 90 psi and release the spring brakes. Using chalk or soapstone, mark each push rod at the brake chamber as illustrated. Raise or lower the air pressure by running the engine or pumping the brakes until both primary and secondary tanks measure between 90 and 100 psi, and then turn off the engine. Utilizing a second person or an improvised device, press and hold the brake in the fully applied position. Go to each brake chamber and measure the distance from the chamber to the mark you made on the push rod. Record this measurement on your DVIR. Determine the number size and type for each brake chamber, as well as the adjustment limit for each brake chamber. Compare the travel distance you recorded to the applicable limit. Determine if the travel measured exceeds the limit. If so, this brake is out of adjustment and must be corrected by an authorized brake mechanic before going on the road. The size of the brake chamber will always be a number. Sizes are assigned based on the diameter of the brake chamber. This number should always be clearly marked on the chamber itself as shown on the screen. Stroke type is either standard stroke or long stroke. Long stroke chambers are indicated by an L following the size number, square-shaped ports or embossments, or trapezoidal stroke tags. Oftentimes, long stroke chambers will have any combination of these three indicators. This reference chart is taken from the Code of Federal Regulations. It lists the adjustment limit for both standard and long stroke chambers. Measurements that exceed these values are out of adjustment and must be corrected by a certified mechanic before going back onto the road. Remember, drivers should never manually adjust automatic slack adjusters or perform work on their own brakes. In order to create a safe environment for all employees and other drivers on the road, Pac-Van drivers must perform thorough vehicle inspections. This vehicle inspection training is not all-inclusive. Drivers are still responsible for studying, knowing, and applying all local, state, and federal regulations pertaining to the safe operation of a commercial motor vehicle. Immediately following this presentation, please view the attached PowerPoint presentation that shows real-life out-of-service violations discovered by roadside inspectors. No Pac-Van vehicles or personnel were involved in any of the incidents shown. To assist with the vehicle inspection process, I have included checklists with this training. While these checklists do not replace the DVIR, they can be used in conjunction with the DVIR to ensure that all areas discussed are inspected daily. Any questions or concerns should be forwarded to your supervisor or myself at the contact information listed on the screen.